faggot, dyke, butch, queer. We hear these words frequently, used in common slang and as insults. But when we say these things, do we really think about the words and the meaning behind them? Let's explore these meanings and the history behind the words to see if they have positive or negative connotation. The first word, faggot. Besides meaning a gay person, most people think of the British term fag, meaning a cigarette or a bundle of sticks. How do we get from cigarettes and bundles of sticks to a gay person? No one knows 100% where the term originated from, but there are many theories. The first known theory is during the European Inquisition, when heretics, people who protested or were thought to protest against the church, were being burned alive. The fires were built using faggots, or bundles of sticks, so the term to fry a faggot emerged. Those who withdrew their heretical beliefs were forced to embroider their sleeves with the image of sticks, or faggots. As the Gay, Lesbian, Straight Education Network puts it, the word faggot now had the connotation of baggage, something burdensome or difficult to bear. There is another variation of this theory. FortuneCity.com says that people who were considered to be gay during the Inquisition were forced to collect wood for the fire, and when the fire burned down, these people were thrown in alongside the sticks or faggots. Another theory is that faggot was a term to insult women, similar to calling a woman a shrew or a hag. A contemporary insult would be to call a woman a ball and chain. Later in the 19th century and early 20th century, in British male boarding schools, young males were expected to gather firewood for the older students. These expectations grew so that the younger students were doing other things as well. Sometimes it went so far as sex, but in all cases, it was about the younger boys submitting to the power over the older boys. No one knows how the term faggot crossed the Atlantic Ocean, but in the 20th century it was slang for men who were effeminate or flamboyant. By the 1960s it was a commonly used slur for gay men. Well, what about the word dyke? This is a slur for gay women or lesbians. What are the origins behind this word? Again, there are many speculations. It is possible that the word dyke is from the word hermaphrodite, the scientific term of an animal or plant having both male and female sex organs. The word hermaphrodite evolved over time to morphodite, then to morphodyke, and then shortened to dyke. The main theory on the origins of the word dyke comes from the early British and Roman history. Boudica was the first queen of the British tribe during the 1st century, and after her husband's death, she was the ruler over her tribe. When the Romans occupied Britain, they beat Boudica and raped her 2 daughters. She counterattacked by leading a revolt and destroying the Roman settlement in London. In 1710, a British newspaper supposedly used the word dyke as well. The story was about Anne Bonny and Mary Read, 2 cross-dressing pirates. The reporter used the French word dyke, which referred to men's clothing, when he described the 2 women pirates. Another possibility is that dyke came from the phrase dyked out, commonly used in the 1800s. Today's equivalent would be the phrase decked out. Both phrases just mean to wear fancy clothes and dress up. Later in the 1920s, African Americans used the expression bulldyking, which also meant dressing up. It is unclear how bulldyking went from meaning dressing up to meaning a masculine lesbian woman. By the late 1950s, it had become a hurtful word towards lesbians. Author Joan Nestle says the word bulldyke has the connotation of an ugly, aggressive animal. Now let's look at the term butch and the way it's used. In the heterosexual community, the term butch is most often used in a derogatory manner to refer to a woman, regardless of her sexual orientation, who is masculine in appearance. This can be in any context, from hairstyle to lack of makeup, to style of dress, to activity preferences, such as sports. However, the term butch, as it is used in the lesbian or homosexual community, is simply used to refer to one gender of lesbian. Its counterpart is the term femme, which refers to the lesbians who appear feminine in dress, hairstyle, and activity choices. In the book, Butch Femme Inside Lesbian Gender, there are various stories by lesbians and about lesbian culture, and the fact that classical butches were those who wore men's clothing and played pool and pinball at the bars. Within the lesbian community, the term butch has no real negative connotation. Rather, it is a way to distinguish between what they refer to as the genders of lesbians. The history behind the word queer is much more straightforward than the words faggot or dyke. In the dictionary, queer means strange, odd, peculiar, eccentric in appearance or character. Also of questionable, suspicious, and dubious character. It was common in the 1950s to use the word queer to explain something that was just weird. There are many mainstream popular books and TV shows that use this word. But this word soon came to mean being gay as well, with derogatory intent. There is debate even in the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, also known as LGBT community, whether this word is now acceptable. Some argue that the word queer is easier to say than all the letters of LGBT. They also embrace the word as their own, and by embracing it, they give it positive meaning and cancel out the negative ones. However, some argue the word queer just continues the belief that the LGBT community is somewhat odd, strange, and not normal. Through learning about the history behind these words, we find in most instances these words do not mean positive things. These words are considered slurs toward the LGBT community, yet people still say them. Would you call someone a nigger? No, because that is one of the most disrespectful things someone could say to an African American. So why is it okay in our society to call someone a faggot, dyke, butch, or queer? Regardless of who those words are said to, whether it is someone of the LGBT community or someone who is not, those words end up hurting someone.